In 2007, Harvest Capital was founded. Its investments span a wide range of sectors, from energy drinks and leisure snacks to fast food, Jinmailang, East Rock Beverage, Wenheyou, Chia Food, Babi Food, Ima, Meituan, Didi, covering almost all leading brands in the fields of clothing, food, housing, and transportation in China. Sung also set a record for the exit amount in the consumer investment sector this year on the 18th Forbes China Venture Capitalists 100 list.
We have invested in about 30 Chinese consumer brands,
focusing on essential, high-frequency, and livelihood-related products for ordinary people, which also have the necessary technical infrastructure capabilities. Dongpeng Special Drink is an investment that has brought us very satisfactory returns. We invested 350 million in this company, but we also gained nearly 8 billion in returns with a return rate level of the 2020s. It's a truly structural plan. Once you seize it, it's like a downpour in life, right? For those who trade continuously, it's basically impossible to have a perfect diary. I firmly believe that this guy needs to develop his own independent style. In terms of leadership, empowering in operations management, and corporate branding, we have completely developed our own set of methodologies.
Although the company has been established for 18 years, he continues to ponder what the ultimate destination for an investor is.
The past 100 years of Wall Street history have proven to you that most of these stories don't end well. They're not happy endings. However, if we as entrepreneurs choose to continue, you'll find that the results are actually quite good. I believe that focus and concentration will bring about dedication. I'm a believer. I trust that expertise creates value, and I also believe that industry can change the world. In terms of cleverness, we can't compete with them, but we can stick to our duties and practice self-discipline in our roles. Diligence and professionalism, we can go far.
Ultimately, he realized that investing in society, the common people, public sentiment, and entrepreneurial spirit is a prerequisite for generating more substantial returns. In this issue, Forbes China takes a closer look at Harvest Capital and sits down with Sung to discuss his perspective on consumer investments. Mr. Song, you're looking at the world from a rather special perspective, that is, big money, big trends, global. What are your thoughts on the key obstacle in front of the Chinese economy right now?
Some time ago, I watched a very famous movie that personally left a deep impression on me called Upstream. Directed by Su Zhang, it tells the story of a middle-aged software engineer whom we commonly refer to as Ma Long, and how he delivers food and makes a living after losing his job, exploring the interest in such a life. There are many people in China. We have about 12 million people delivering food. This flexible workforce is about 200 million, widespread but not fully representative of China. China has its own philosophy. Consider a county of 300,000, 200 to 300 kilometers from a provincial capital in inland China. Their standard of living, standard industrial structure, standard GDP, and lifestyle will give you an understanding of how 600 million to 900 million Chinese people live. Because these 900 million people are the real China. So, can technology save the country? Yes, it can, but technology cannot establish a nation. Ultimately, technology is a means to an end serving the purposes of people. It's considered to serve consumption. So, I think during this process, we must transform. How do you describe and present Harvest Capital to investors and partners? Macroeconomics is a field worth studying, and it's interesting to understand what will happen to China's economy in the future and what will happen to the world economy. So, I believe the future of China's economy is definitely in consumption, and the history of world economic development has also proven that any developing economy succeeds through consumption. Why does Harvest Capital choose to focus on consumption? In a successful market, it's because China has the largest single economy in the world and the largest market entity, a unified large market of 1.4 billion people. Therefore, Chinese consumption is definitely worth investing in, as I mentioned about Harvest. We focus on investing in essential, high-frequency livelihood products that have infrastructure capabilities with an emphasis on essential goods. So we also believe in investing in these essential consumer goods. Investing in such fast-moving consumer goods caters to 80% of the daily needs of ordinary people, meeting the basic living requirements of 24 hours a day for 80% of Chinese people. Moreover, we create products with the ultimate cost-effectiveness. Such a venture is very significant. Americans have their own Coca-Cola, the British have their Dyson, and the Japanese have their own unique brands, so Chinese people will definitely have their own brands. Consumption continues, and Chinese people deserve a better life. There's not much meaning in stock trading because it's a zero-sum game, similar to playing mahjong in our Chinese perspective. If people play together for a long time, they actually take turns winning and losing. What we are really killing is time. Our goal is to support Chinese consumption, support Chinese brands, support Chinese industries, and integrate into the everyday lives of ordinary people. Support Chinese consumption. Supporting national platforms. I believe that this is the kind of life that will have meaning and value. How many companies have you invested in so far? What kind of result?
We have invested in about 30 Chinese consumer brands.
Mainly in the areas of food, beverages, cosmetics, and dining. It's probably hard to find an investment firm in China more focused on the mass consumption sector than we are. Of course, after sticking with it for these years, our results have been good. I should say, in the field of consumer results in China, our returns have been very good. I think we should thank the Chinese market, thank the 1.4 billion Chinese people, and our rapidly developing economy, which has given us a lot of power for consumer choice and brand growth. So, in this process, Jiahua, we have indeed enjoyed the beta of the times, so we remain firmly optimistic about China. There are still many opportunities in China's future. What has been your most successful investment so far? And how did you find it?
Donutpin is an investment
That has given us very satisfactory returns. We invested 350 million, but we received nearly 8 billion in returns, a return rate of 20 times. This comes from our innovation in this industry. I think people need to be well prepared because we once worked with Red Bull, so I am very familiar with the functional beverage industry. Truly, because of Red Bull's rapid success in China. We know how much money there is in functional beverages in China. Moreover, after years of tracking and research, we found that within the vast beverage market in China, functional beverages are actually the fastest growing segment in the soft drink industry. When the trend came to China around 1996, and after 30 years of development, it became the largest beverage group globally. I also believe that Chinese people will seek their own functional beverage brands. Through our research and long-term cooperation with Red Bull, we discovered this very large product and market. Naturally, we sought the most interesting options in China, and back then we encountered Dong. Dongpeng was still quite small, about 2 billion. However, I believe Dongpeng can surely become the Chinese version of Red Bull. Then it will definitely surpass it. I think in 2017, reaching 5 years was not easy. Before the successful investment in 2017, I went to Dongpeng and chatted with Mr. Lin at least dozens of times. We never had a meal together, never formally discussed the investment situation. We always talked about the functional beverage market, the brand, how to build channels, and the development environment of competitors. It was because of several in-depth exchanges that we had such deep resonance and empathy, which led to our later investment opportunity. I often jokingly say, during this process, Mr. Lin also had intentions to cooperate with GIC and other ET institutions, but in the end, he still chose us. Based on trust and understanding, I believe he must have thought that you are the person who understands the Chinese functional beverage market the best and can help him the most with this Chinese national brand. Moreover, indeed, in future data, we became very good partners. This company ushered in the most glorious period in its development history, becoming a national brand in China that truly defeated Red Bull. It is now a source of pride for the Chinese people, so I think this can be considered one of our most successful days. Success doesn't simply mean financial returns, but that we can truly change the competitive landscape. We can truly lead Chinese entrepreneurs to become their unexpected selves and genuinely defeat the largest global competitors. I think this is something to be proud of. It will also continuously inspire more successors and outstanding young local entrepreneurs, making them believe, I can do it. What is the role of Harvest in that process, and particularly you personally? We are not a consulting firm, nor are we an investment bank. I think in this process, we are trying to play a more important role. Speaking of becoming a business partner of the company, personally participating in the internal operations, formulating internal control, and operational management, working more closely with the company, even as a minority shareholder or second largest shareholder, we get involved to understand channels, branding, product market positioning, consumer insights, digitalization, and digital operations, including our current collaboration with Zhaikayuan at Loxiangji, because Zhaikayuan's digitalization, its membership system, and its BI business intelligence system are all serviced directly by our team. We help them establish it, and this service is free of charge. So why do we do this? I often tell my team that this is an important learning opportunity because we are working with champions in China who have huge demands. Their success is the best testing ground, allowing us to continuously accumulate knowledge and reuse our capabilities to help more people. This is a very good historical opportunity. Secondly, through our practical operations and the services our company provides. Solutions, truly practical and concrete post-investment services, with the core purpose of creating enterprise value, allow us to help more companies become better versions of themselves. This, of course, also forms our structural competitive advantage. I truly believe in what Charlie Munger said, that life offers many opportunities, but there are only a few truly structural opportunities. If you seize them, you become a big winner in life. Those who trade continuously are unlikely to have a perfect record. Believing in this, during my entrepreneurial journey, Jiahua aims to develop its own unique style in post-investment and operational management. In terms of corporate branding, we have completely developed our own set of methodologies. What is it about you that has made Harvest Capital so successful? What do you see in yourself that has allowed that to happen? Most people in finance exist because of their interest. Everyone believes in a story that investment is a portfolio theory. After mathematics was introduced into finance, it became a game for smart people where everyone seeks profit from volatility. In fact, if you look at the past 100 years of Wall Street history, it has already proven to you that most of these stories don't end well. They aren't happy endings. However, if we choose to continue as entrepreneurs, you will find that actually the results are quite good. I believe that focus and dedication lead to expertise, which is a principle I strongly believe in. So personally, I'm a bit old-fashioned. I believe that expertise creates value, and I also believe that industry changes the world. In the direction of being clever, we can't compete with them, but we can stick to our principles and achieve great things through self-discipline. When it comes to diligence and professionalism, we can go further. The path of trading and arbitrage among smart people is too crowded. I think the world is fascinating. Being honest and working steadily isn't very common, so the competition isn't as fierce, which is why we move slowly. The style of Jiahua is very slow, being partners in the business, sincerely helping businesses and helping ourselves become better versions of ourselves. We don't do much, so less is more. Doing quality projects is a process I really enjoy and have gained a lot from. We have also become better ourselves and helped more people achieve their life dreams, assisting several Chinese companies in becoming industry champions. Sometimes Chinese interests can very likely become #1 in the world. So my image is #1, and my work is like leading a team participating in the Chinese national games. To participate in the Olympics of world brands, if given the opportunity to lead more times, to participate more, to help our Chinese companies become champions. In the competition among enterprises in the Olympics, I think it would be a great honor. In this life, PE funding, when it's done right, it can build the world and it can improve people's lives. It can create a great future, and it appears that you've chosen that road. Indeed, I think it is valuable and meaningful. Therefore, in this direction, Jiahua has also done a lot of preparation and refinement. We might feel that companies focused on arbitrage lack substance or do not provide significant positive feedback. As a financial practitioner, I actually promoted this in the market last year. It's what I truly want to do and what I'm currently doing. I want to change the name of Jiahua Capital to Jiahua Industries. I am now working on my own convenient fast food business, and it's not just in China, but globally. We are currently looking at the market in New York. We are looking at the market in London, Paris, and Tokyo. After truly making money from the financial market, we still want to pursue business ventures. We believe that industry is the right path, creating value, having social value, and generating wealth spillover effects. This is what truly promotes social progress, and it's a principle we adhere to. This is the true spirit and pursuit of Jiahua. From this perspective, we are different from most PE and VC firms. Asset management institutions manage portfolios, money, and liquidity. I believe our core goal is not Welch's value. Our core values are the value of the enterprise. Therefore, in the process of enterprise value, we must have the ability to serve entrepreneurs and the value of the enterprise. You need to understand management and operations, Drucker's theory. To give a simple example, I have invested in many food and beverage sectors, including fast-moving consumer goods, food and beverages, cosmetics, and the restaurant industry, especially fast food. People often ask, why can't Chinese cuisine go global and become a world-class brand? The first is the dartboard. We need dehumidification. We are a restaurant and need to train a large number of chefs and staff. Chinese cuisine is very complex and may be standardized. The United States has 61 publicly listed companies in the restaurant industry, making it the largest for dining. Major brands are in the US, McDonald's, KFC, Starbucks, and Chipotle. If you study this phenomenon carefully, there is a special reason behind it. It's that Americans believe in the supply chain. Americans believe in management science. With the globalization of the US and the multinational companies, along with the industrialized, standardized, and modernized products chosen by the US, this fast food culture has become the driving force behind the expansion of the American restaurant industry. The core is still the respect for modernization, the respect for management science, and the emphasis on the supply chain. Most of these are difficult for Chinese, Japanese, or French cuisine to achieve. Their strengths are our weaknesses. So from this perspective, I feel a responsibility to lead our Chinese cuisine, to become standardized and modernized, and to believe in management science. Give me some time, and I believe I can achieve this. The companies we have invested in, like Lao Xiangji, Shaokai Yuan, and Barb, can all become the McDonald's of the East, the Starbucks of the East, with the spirit of the East. Chinese people will also have their own brands, and we deserve a better life. Chinese entrepreneurs will also become successful.
Like in other countries, Western entrepreneurs are excellent brand users and creators of modern life. We discussed internationalization to some extent, and I wanted to get your thoughts about Harvard Capital and moving out of China, doing projects, and looking at other markets like the United States and Europe. What are your thoughts on the international prospects? When an economy develops to a certain level, it naturally has economic spillover effects.
So capital is facing going abroad. Brands are facing going abroad, and entrepreneurs are facing going abroad. An international perspective allows participation in global economic competition. This is a positive trend, and Jiahua is no exception. Jiahua is in Chinese consumer investment, products, and FMCG sectors. As an organization that has achieved certain accomplishments in the midst of deep industry competition. Of course, we need to participate in the global. competition of consumer goods. So we have now established companies in the United States, Tokyo, Singapore, and Hong Kong, allowing us to engage in the global consumer goods market. The journey of competition in the field has just begun, and we will firmly establish ourselves in the mass consumer goods market, focusing on essential consumer goods, particularly those with high quality, known as hypocrisy products and services. At the same time, we will also cater to the everyday needs of ordinary people, prioritizing products with extreme cost-effectiveness, as this will better serve the public. Within our scope of understanding, we will do what we excel at to create value for society. Therefore, Chinese consumption, Chinese brands, and Chinese capital going global will become a trend in the future. An interesting phenomenon is the development history of the Chinese economy. Some Chinese companies will begin to take the lead in establishing a global presence, like our Lenovo, like our Huawei. In fact, in terms of industrial manufacturing, in the internet, in software, equipment, hardware, and in the technology sector, the way they have taken the lead in establishing a global presence has already set an example for Chinese companies going global. The Chinese economy has also developed because of foreign investment coming to China. We learned the rules of the market economy because companies like Ford and other large corporations wanted to come to China, which led to the establishment of foreign investment legislation. To this day, foreign investment still plays a very important role in China's economic life. With less than 10% of the GDP, it accounts for about 30% to 40% of imports and exports, and generates nearly 25% to 26% of net profits. So I believe this is a two-way journey. In the past, reform and opening up meant foreign investment coming to China. In the future, with this reform and opening up, Chinese entrepreneurs will definitely go global, becoming an important force in the world economy, representing China's image and becoming a significant achievement of China's economic development, truly realizing globalization. Therefore, of course, in this process, Jiahua is also unsurprisingly involved. To move towards globalization, we need to take the experiences we've gained in the Chinese market and establish them in the global market, allowing them to take root, blossom, and bear fruit. Your advice to Chinese brands that are looking to go into the consumer markets outside of China. I think being cost-effective is more important. I believe any good product should have both of these characteristics. We cannot equate Chinese manufacturing and Chinese brands with just being cheap. We also cannot say that we should follow the path of the French and only make luxury goods for a very small number of people. We are still committed to serving 80% of the ordinary people and their everyday needs. Secondly, I think it's very important to deeply integrate into the everyday lives of the people, enter the world, and let the everyday life of the people be empowered by the essence of daily life. The major global food, beverage, and cosmetics groups operate around this logic, becoming a standard part of people's lives. For example, whether it's Coca-Cola, Nestle, Kraft, or L'Oreal, whether it's Colgate or Procter & Gamble, the reason they have remained enduring brands for over a century and become a staple in people's lives is because they offer quality products at affordable prices. A very important principle in our current investments is that we believe in the discounted cash flow model. Secondly, we believe in the value and power of a company's growth, meaning we are investing in the company's growth and its ability to execute cash flow. More importantly, what are we buying? We are buying the company's ability to navigate through cycles in its future development, because only such companies can truly enjoy the potential for time and welfare value. Has not been so good over the past couple of years, and the central government has been taking some stimulus measures. What would be your view on how things are going to develop over the next few years? Because China is already the world's second largest total media market. If we include the EU, we are the third largest when measured in US dollars. However, with economic development reaching this stage in the post-industrial era, China also faces significant challenges. We need to transition from a production-oriented society to a consumption-oriented society, which is a very important issue that I think no one mentioned 3 years ago. This issue arises because China has greatly benefited from our ability to export labor in global manufacturing, holding the position of the world's factory. However, From the perspective of a socio-economic development model and direction, no developed economy or country ultimately fails to develop its service industry. There isn't a single OECD country that isn't service-oriented. In such economies, consumption accounts for more than 70% of the national economy, and there isn't a single developed country where the per capita income level and national income do not exceed 60% of the total GDP. This is a path that humanity has commonly taken, proving that Chinese society indeed needs a genuine social transformation. For the transformation of China's social and economic development structure, it is essential to shift from a production-oriented to a consumption-oriented society. I wonder if you could talk about your plans for the coming year and beyond. What directions and what projects are you looking at? How do you plan to convince consumers to have more confidence in the future and to spend more freely? In the past, we focused on supply-side reforms, making changes, optimizations, and efficiency improvements on the supply side. However, the core issue is still demand. Only when people have money in their hands will they dare to consume and be willing to spend. So, in our economic revitalization and stimulus plan, the core focus should be on low and middle income groups, not the wealthy. Tax cuts for the wealthy are ineffective because their marginal propensity to consume is very low. Instead, there should be large-scale tax cuts and benefits for low and middle income groups. This can be achieved through primary and secondary distribution, transfer payments, and government subsidies in areas such as social welfare, healthcare, education, housing, and child rearing. The future development of China's economy must be supported by consumption, with improvements in effective demand. It is crucial to manage expectations, to give the market confidence, to give the market. Then, it's important to improve the income levels of residents and ultimately direct limited financial resources towards fostering long-term economic growth momentum. This long-term economic growth momentum involves repairing the balance sheets of residents and increasing per capita income levels, the continuous improvement of marginal demand. Only in this way is it possible for China's economy to truly sustain long-term health and positive development